Morning. It is now June 5th at 1:07 a.m. Showers and storms are moving across parts of the area. This is a live look, looking live from out around Springdale. You can see the showers and storms, a lot of those low clouds that are moving into the area from the west. I do want to let you know, though, we don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings that are currently in effect, although some small hail is being reported. Let's get over to the radar. There you go. You can see the lightning out in the distance. Of course, you can probably hear it as well. I want to show you what this thing looks like on radar. So here we are with the line that's moving in. This is moving in west to east out across northeast Oklahoma as well as southeast, well, really all of eastern Oklahoma, isn't it? And that severe thunderstorm watch is still in effect till about 3 a.m. Couple things I'm noting just by looking at this. First of all, I know we might be a little bit skittish here in Bentonville and Rogers with the storms that we just had crawl through. I don't see any rotation with any of this and nothing to be concerned about as far as damaging wind goes. The line actually looks like it's starting to lose some steam as it moves east. It's not the same intensity that it was when it moved through eastern Oklahoma and caused some damaging wind gusts earlier today. Those storms continue to track eastward, though. Again, looking at it from Heifel out through Cave Springs and then tracking east in towards War Eagle and Lowell. This is an area that was hit by that tornado, though. So understandably, you get these storms in the middle of the night like this. You wonder what in the world's going on, especially after you've experienced something like what we've experienced here in Rogers with these strong storms that have moved through. These storms are moving in out around the Bella Vista area now. It looks like moving north here. It's closer towards P Ridge, really coming down out around Bella Vista, out near the bypass. You can see some cars that are out there having moving a little bit of a slow go with those lightning strikes still continuing. I'm going to go back over here and take a look at some of the streets that are affected currently by this. This is a wide view of the line that's moving through this line, making its way in west to east. You can see the lightning strikes with it too. So it's got quite a bit of lightning as these showers and thunderstorms start continuing to or continue their way out across the area. I'm going to zoom in here and let you take another look at this. You can see it here from Centerton out through the Bentonville area and Rogers. I'll stop this and we'll get in closer on where the strongest part of the storm is in Bentonville. It's actually in Centerton. Here's East Centerton Boulevard and Kimmel Road out around Greenhouse Road. Now, this area is an area that had some strong storms a couple weekends ago too, but this storm, nothing like that. In fact, no rotation within this one, which is good news for us. And then as we move out towards the east, Avoca and Little Flock, these showers and storms, the heaviest part of the storm seems to be located right here along Cloverdale Road and Oak Tree Circle on the northeast side of Rogers. Again, that's tracking towards Elko Lane and Grambling Road as this thing moves in west to east. Now, farther south, you can see where this is going with the storm. The whole line is moving in from the west to the east, but as it gets into central Benton County, then we're starting to see some weakening. As it moves more east, it will weaken even more. The overall weakening trend, I think I've still got this up here. Let's see. Not pulling it up at the moment. The overall risk of severe weather isn't high as you go towards the east. I like that monitor that's over there. So we are looking at the showers and storms, but they should weaken as they trend east. The exception is going to be parts of southeast Oklahoma where things are a little bit more rough with instability and where storms could be just a little bit stronger as they move in. So there's another look there at the showers and storms that are moving through. Take you out towards 14th Street now. Let's look towards the south. There's a live look at the showers that are moving in, a few embedded thunderstorms with it. The cluster of lightning that's the strongest is actually right there. There you go. Let me get that back up there for you. Is strongest here into central parts of Benton County with that line. And then looks like as it moves northeast, Rogers is going to get more of these heavy showers and storms. And another thing to note, too, that from the Rogers Police Department was that the National Guard surveyed the ditches, and there were several ditches which were blocked. I think it was like 450 points of blockage. It was a lot of blockage as far as creeks and streams go. So as the storm moves in, and thankfully there's not a lot of people out there on the roads at night, but flooding could become an issue here in Benton County simply due to the amount of uh, blockages we have out there from all the debris that's been going on from the cleanup and trying to clear things out. It's just been a lot for us, and it's going to take a long time before we get cleaned up here in Rogers and Bentonville and Centerton. And understandably, when you get storms like this, it's a little bit nerve wracking. I mean, especially compared to what you just went through. So the strongest part of this thunderstorm now near Heifel. This is north of Healing Springs Road. So that's going to put this around Northeast 18th Street, Duke Hill Road, and Douglas Cemetery Road. And that's tracking east. So that heavy area that you see there, this is where it's really coming down and where that lightning is a bit more concentrated with the cell that's near Heifel. So that storm moves eastward, gets into Cave Springs. So this one's going to be a heavy one coming up for us here out towards where are we at here? West Thistle Lane, South 87th Street, West Apollo Drive, South 88th, as well as West Milky Way and South 89th Street, West Tuttle Road, West Comet Drive. That's off Pleasant Grove, looking off towards the north near Kingberg Court, Scissortail Drive, and Hackleberry. So that's moving up towards essentially the what do you call that? Kind of moving right over Shadow Valley, moving right over the Scissortail community towards the northeast. So more towards Pleasant Grove, more towards the Pauline Whitaker area than more to the south. Actually, looks like the X and A is getting hammered right now. You got the little, that's where you drop the people off, the old kiss and fly zone, right? Oh, look at that. They got the little buildings updated on the map. That's kind of neat. That's Airport Boulevard there. And then we back out here. You can see it, man, this thing's right over the airport as it moves in. Again, that thunderstorm continuing to track eastward. So what I wanted to see is let's take a look at the velocity here. Let's just look at wind speeds inside the storm. We do have some stronger areas of wind, and that storm that's out near Heifel is producing some wind, it looks like. Let's look at this in motion here as it tracks eastward. You have a little area right there, isn't there, near Heifel? That was that same spot we just saw. I think you have a little pocket of gusty winds that are lodged right in the middle of that. Let's see here. Excuse me, that's going to track to the north. Just watching that little return there. You see the little bright spot that popped up there? Right there. Looks like it was southwest of Heifel near Gailey Hollow Road. So you've got a little pocket of stronger winds embedded within this. Let's go over to analyst and see. Another wide view. Let's see if we can find this thing again. It's looking out to the west. Of course, I'm using a different radar source here. Let's back on out here. What am I on? Tulsa radar here? Yep. So let's loop this. There's the line of storms that's moving in. It's a quick burst, guys. This isn't an all night type thing. It's going to be over with a lot faster too in Rogers and Bentonville, and Fort Smith than it's going to be in Waldron, where it may be raining here for like the next 2 or 3 hours. So this whole thing is going to be tracking on in, and does have the potential to be severe. Again, it'd be damaging wind gusts is what we'd be concerned with. So again, here's Bella Vista. The worst is over with. It wasn't a lot, was it? Moved through pretty quick. Same with P Ridge. You start kind of in the thick of it in P Ridge now, and then you got that core that's moving over the Cave Springs area right in here. I'm going to loop this real quick, and then I may switch radars. Let's see here. Really pick up on it from the Tulsa radar. You can see the pocket of stronger winds. Of course, we're sampling higher in the sky. As the radar beam leaves the Earth, it climbs, and so it gets a little bit higher as it moves through. Let's look at this from the other radar source. I'm go back to this one. See here. Yeah, we had it on this one too for about a scan. Where it back to it. Here you go. So these are the wind speeds in the storm. You can see the bright green and white pixels there. If you back it up a couple frames, though, looks like, see it right there? Pretty little strong little gust there. That was just south of the airport. We should check the airport and see what the airport's registering as far as winds go. But that came down. There's still a lot of wind, though, here west of Elm Springs and west of Tawnytown, in that little green pocket that's there. And that's tracking east as well. Here's a look moving more east. Notice one thing too that I like to see here that indicates a lower severe weather risk. See how this outflow boundary on the leading edge here is outrunning the convection or the stronger storms to the west. When that happens, you're already kind of kneecapping some of these drafts. You're pushing the cold air out ahead of the storm, and the warm air is climbing above that boundary layer, above the cold air. And when you have that happen, you're really not looking at an enhanced risk of severe weather or tornado risk that's a lot higher. It's actually quite a bit lower when stuff like that happens. So that's one thing to watch here with the storm that's moving through. And again, that strong part's going to be moving into Rogers here shortly. If we drop back southward, it's not nearly as impressive in the Fort Smith area. A little bit of a drop off here, and the reason is, if we go back to the other radar source here, with the storm that was moving through, actually was part of two complexes that have moved in. So there was one to the north and then one to the south. They both kind of merged together. The one to the north that we're seeing here, this one actually came in through Kansas earlier, moved in, dropped in from the northwest, and then the other one down to the south. This one originated here in Oklahoma City, and it's diving southeast. So you really have two separate little complexes here that are moving through, and the atmosphere is much more stable farther north. It's much less stable farther south. So you'll get this line moving through. There's that outflow boundary. See it outrun the storms here. That's good news for us. That means a lower severe risk as it moves east. It turns more into a rain event for us with occasional thunderclaps than it does anything big to be concerned with as far as wind damage and tornadoes go. I think the severe risk is low in Fort Smith as this moves east, especially since we're kind of caught between the northern complex and then the southern complex that's down to the south. You can tell just by looking at lightning strikes where it's the strongest. So we'll head back into Rogers and look at this area a little bit more right in here as that line moves eastward. The heavy showers around Cave Springs moving north. Right now, that's moving along 264, right up Healing Springs Road. That's the road that you take out there to the airport at Cave Springs. So if you picture, here's 264 where you head north on 112. So you have the Casey's right here, and then you go north for about a block, and that escape room place is on the right, and there you have the fire station. You go west on 264. You're running right into the middle of it, right there on Colonel Myers Road, and looks like Atkins Road is where some of the heaviest is in Cave Springs. Now, that's where it is now. Where's it going? Well, it's going to be going northeast. So this is the area up next. That's Wallace Road, South Wallace Road, and Garrett Road. So this is coming up on Liberty Bell, the Pleasant Grove Road area, moving eastward. So 112 running north to Pleasant Grove. There's that stoplight that takes forever here, that intersection right there near Shadow Valley, phase 5,000 or which whenever they're on here, just east of 112. New scan brought it right near Osage Mill. So Phillips Cemetery Road and South Morning Star. That's the area where this is strongest, and that's going to be northeast of the airport, XNA, moving towards I-49. That's the strong part of the storm. We also have another strong part here that's over us in Cave Springs that's going to be moving towards Lowell and eventually getting into Cross Hollow. So you have that strong storm to contend with as well. Here's another wide view of the line that's moving in. Again, that's going to take us here across central Benton County for the strongest part of the storm. Kind of relieve your nerves here. We're not looking at a storm that's going to produce a tornado with this. There is a wind damage risk, but right as of right now, I don't see any indication this storm is anything like what we saw weeks ago. That was a supercell storm. That was one isolated storm. This is more of a line of storms that's moving through. You're looking live from I-49 towards Uptown at all the lightning that's out there. The kids may wake up out of this, but then again, maybe they won't because they're on summer vacation and they don't carry anything right now other than video games and Taylor Swift in this house. But anyway, I'm sure they're awake somewhere around there as that line makes its way in. Again, that's central Benton County out towards Centerton. You can see the line moving in from the west to the east, moving through with that chance of showers and storms continuing for about the next hour, I think, before things start to eventually fall off, and then hopefully we'll get some calmer weather for the rest of the night. We can kind of sleep a little bit easier once this line makes its way in. So right now, northeast side of Rogers, out around Avoca and Brightwater. This is east of 62. So this is out towards Walnut Hill. This is coming up on Posey Mountain Road. Heavy rainfall now on all those blue tarps that are out there as we try to pick up all the damage. Man, on 62 and 12 running east. Man, there's still a lot that's down out there. Here's a new scan, so let's take you to the strongest part first, and then we'll look northeastward. Right now, it's along east. It's on 264 and 112, so it's right there at the corner intersection there by the light in Cave Springs before you drop south on 112, and then that's moving northeast. So that's coming up on excuse me, Ford Lane, Shook Drive. This is Brentwood. So Brentwood and Creekwood here are going to be dealing with these storms now, and then that moves up northeast towards Mount Hebron Park, and then up towards Garrett Road, and then Cross Creek, and then crossing over towards Bellevue. Fairview Elementary School would be here, and then here's exit 81 at Pleasant Grove Road. Might be worth taking a look at that camera here in just a second too. That's the area where the storm is strongest, okay? So that's not where we're looking at wind damage or rotation or anything. If we take a look at where the wind damage risk would be, we'll take a look at velocity. I'll leave this on radar and I'll loop this for you to give you an idea of what's happening here, and then we'll head back over to the Pleasant Grove camera just to see what it looks like there in in Rogers as it starts to move through. I can take you Embassy looking north. That really, I mean, that shows us a little bit. You can see the rain's coming down pretty good there, northbound. That's from Embassy. And then the Pleasant Grove camera, let me get that one pulled up for you because it looks like that strongest part of the storm should move right over Pleasant Grove. So this is Pleasant Grove looking south. This is great because we're looking into the strongest part of the storm there on the right as it approaches. So the Walmart's there on the left, and then you look to the right, you can see Pleasant Grove Road running east-west. So the next exit would take you to Lowell, which means you've got Workman's up there on the right, the truck stop, and you can see all the lightning out there from this storm that's moving in. Here's another look at it again. That line of storms tracking in west to east. Let's look at this thing for some wind now and see if we can find any pockets of wind that might concern us. And at least as it stands now, I'm not seeing anything that indicates any rotation in the storm. Not seeing anything that indicates large hail or damaging winds. The only thing I even saw on here was that thing that moved over Heifel and Springtown earlier, right? So let's see, right there. There was a little burst of gusty winds there at the intersection of Highway 12 and 264 earlier this evening, and that's really the strongest gust that I think I've seen with this. And other than that, we've been mostly looking at a rain event here as this moves through. Another wide view shows you we don't have any showers or thunderstorms. Sorry, any warnings. We do have a lot of showers and storms, Lewis. Good grief. We don't have any warnings that are in effect here in the Fort Smith area, in Podo, or even in Northwest Arkansas for Rogers, Springdale, Bella Vista, and Fayetteville. But that is where the storm is the strongest, and it continues to track east northeast towards central Benton County. So really, most of the central part of the county is getting some of these heavy showers and storms. That's a look again at Pleasant Grove. That's looking at those heavy showers that are moving in right now. Back over to radar here, give you an idea of this. And here it is in motion. You saw a moment ago, though, cars are moving on the interstate pretty good, so it's not as nasty as it was with that last thing that moved through. I think there's a camera on Oakwoods overpass looking northbound. Let's see. There it is. So this is looking from the opposite direction we were just looking in, and this storm should pass pretty much right over this camera right about now or the next 10 minutes. The heaviest part of the storm, we'll leave that camera up, is on West Monroe now, moving northeast. There's the new scan, puts it over Cross Creek and Mount Hebron. Heavy rain, a little pixel popped up there. That's out towards Lakewood. That's Driftwood Street and Whispering Woods, moving north out towards the intersection of Bellevue and Garrett. This is heavy rainfall, perhaps some small hail, but no rotation in this storm at all. In fact, looking at it a little closer there, shows a little bit of gusty winds, but I'm not seeing anything that looks like it's spinning at all here as it moves through. That's one of the areas that's strong. There's also another one north of Elm Springs that's worth keeping an eye on near Snavely Road and Marchant Road, moving northeast. So that's going to put this towards where 612 just kind of dead ends and there's nothing there. And they say eventually they're going to make a road that's going to go to the airport. We'll see. I'm sure it'll be done by 2027. I really think that's the timeline, was around then. But anyway, it's right where it dead ends here on Main Street, which is essentially 112, just south of Brown Road. So that's where this is moving. And then Wagon Wheel Road, the 612 interchange is getting hit pretty hard right now with heavy rainfall. That's just north of Puppy Creek and Spring Creek Road. And that moves along Sandpiper and Billy Acres and then out there towards Barrett Place from the west to east with the showers and storms moving in. and then eventually moving out pretty quickly too. So it's not going to be again an all uh, type of event that lasts for us all night long. Let's see if I can pull up real quick X and A's obs just to see what it gusted to because that'll give us an idea. Oh yeah, we had a gust of 40. We had a gust of 40 miles an hour at X and A when it moved through. So yeah, we're gonna get some gusty winds out of this, but 40 is below severe limits. Severe criteria is about it's 58 miles an hour. So right now these storms are sub-severe. They're not severe. They are loud, and they have a lot of heavy rain with them. They've got a lot of gusty winds. They have some hail, but nothing that indicates that there's any kind of spinning going on with the storm in Bentonville or Rogers right now, with it moving northeastward. And that thing's going to continue tracking that direction, and then slowly you'll get more of a steady rain behind it, and then things will eventually fade. By the time sunrise rolls around, I think the clouds will even start to clear. And this should be the last one too. I think as we head into the next few days, things calm down quite a bit, and then they course, pick back up by the time Friday night and Saturday night gets here. But meantime, that line continues to track east, and you can see some stronger storms popping up now out there towards Fayetteville. Let's see here. Yeah, out around Johnson and Tawnytown. So you have some heavier showers and storms right there at the intersection of 412 and 49. This is out by Arvest Ballpark and the State Police Way Station interchange right there by the Holiday Inn, where you would transition out towards Sunset, going east out towards 71. In Tawnytown, some of the strongest storms are on, looks like Agnes Drive, Laura Lane, Industrial Drive, Albano, Albano Drive, Albano Drive, East Fletcher Avenue. I'm not going to try here. This is over here near Romono Avenue, Enzo Avenue, and Renali. So this is south of 412 with that little area of heavy rainfall and a lot of lightning moving north. So that's going to move up towards Harbor. Harbor High School's up in this area. There's Gene George. So coming right up near the Springdale exit on 412 with that area of rain. The heaviest storm that was over Rogers this weekend, that's south of Walnut Hill. We were out here earlier, it looked like. Let's see, I can't get a street name to populate on this one, but some heavy rainfall located just to the south of Garfield with that storm. And again, that one's going to track right over Beaver Lake. Here's another look at it. We did expect a weakening trend here with this. It's moving into more stable air. There are no warnings in effect. There was a watch for eastern Oklahoma that expires at 3 a.m. I don't anticipate any additional watches to be issued. If you back out here, let me stop the radar, and you can see that this whole line here extends from good grief, man, Springfield, Missouri, all the way down to about Dallas. So I mean, it's a pretty big complex that's rolling in. And judging just by the lightning strikes here, I'm looking at the storm where it's strongest. Not that strong at all in Poto or west of Fort Smith near Muldrow and Salisaw. Looks more like a gust front. And these are two storm complexes which essentially merged. You had one out across Kansas and you had one in Oklahoma, and they kind of came together right here with this one moving east, this one moving more southeast. Regardless, there's a little bit of a gap in the middle, and that's right where we happen to be here, where that complex is in Fayetteville and the gap between Fayetteville and Fort Smith. So the heavier storms, anyway, are located in the Fayetteville, Elm Springs, Siloam Springs area. Here's another look at the storms as they move into Fayetteville. Here's White Rock out to the west on 16, some heavy showers and storms, and then moving into Lowell and Rogers. That one came down quite a bit over Cave Springs. It weakened. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Look at the white colors here as it moves through. Bright whites, lots of lightning, and then you can see the cell kind of fall off into these lower red colors here, indicating that weakening trend that's taking place. But do expect it to rain in Rogers and in Bentonville probably for the next hour or so before this thing moves out. It's going to actually feel pretty pleasant for the next couple of days as we head into the second half of the week. I think we get some drier air in here. It's going to feel at least a little bit more comfortable for us than what it's felt like with that humidity that kind of surged back. Looking northbound again from the Oakwood overpass. Time now is 1:31. You have showers and storms that are moving in. You can see the trees at the bottom not moving all that much. I mentioned this earlier on the Facebook, but we had a 40-mile-per-hour gust of wind at X and A, and there's a lot of limbs that are just hanging on out there, and you get a 40-mile-an-hour gust. it can knock some things loose, especially in places not so much so in Bentonville where these are moving southeast, where a lot of those damaging winds also moved southeast. Um, from the north, but you're also looking at gusty winds out towards Rogers, which are moving more west to east. And remember, the tornado was like a mile and a half wide, spinning counterclockwise. So you got a lot of damage thrown back to the west on the north side. That could be pushed back to the east. So the bottom line with all that, without getting into the technical way trees fall, which I don't know, maybe it's because it's 1:30 in the morning, your limbs could fall with any gust that we get, and we're getting gusty winds. Bottom line, watch out. There could be some stuff that falls. There could be some power outages out of this. Not so much so because the storm is strong, but because things are getting knocked down from some of the gusty winds in the storm. So let's go north to south again and take another look at this from Bella Vista. We are in the clear from any severe weather tonight. Same with Centerton and Bentonville. We're on the downswing of this thing. Rogers, we still got these storms on the east side of town, but they are showing the weakening trend here, moving out towards Garfield and even the Pea Ridge area. Not much going on here as far as the strength of the thunderstorm. Pretty weak actually in Pea Ridge. And then when you drop down into Elm Springs and Tawnytown, it does pick up a little bit more with the storm crossing I-49. The dark red and dark white pixels show you where the storm is the strongest. So that's where the rain is falling the most. The new scan puts this thing right at the bypass at 612. So let's just go out there and see what in the world it looks like if we take that camera that's out there near the bypass. This is out towards the 612 interchange looking southbound. So if you were going to get on the ramp there, that's where you do it. And it looks like we'll have a um, lightning strike here and there. There's another big one, and a big clap of thunder out there towards Spring Creek, and then that is moving out from Elm Springs north up towards Bethel Heights. A lot of lightning with that storm near Wagon Wheel Road, North Thompson. Silent Grove, North Oak Street, and then running south of Wagon Wheel towards Stoltz Road, Silent Grove. Let's see here, Englewood, Sagely, Laurel Ridge, and Berkshire Terrace, London Terrace, Williams Cove, and Allegheny Terrace. Again, that's where the strongest part of the storm is. Not looking at any wind damage with this. In fact, this thing keeps weakening. This is great. We can all go back to bed here pretty soon with this line that's moving in. It doesn't look like it's nearly as strong as the last storm system was. Farther south, you have some stronger storms south of Tawnytown. That's out there around Harmon. That's going to be along Clearwater Road and Harmon Road, moving east along Wildcat Creek there. That takes you in towards Steele and eventually into Fayetteville. The Fulbright Expressway is starting to get some of the heavier showers and storms from Fayetteville west to White Rock out towards Farmington. The heaviest storm with this one is currently tracking towards South Broyles Avenue and Tofino Drive. That puts this somewhere close to West Walls, West Anthem, West Oldham, and West Wales. That new scan shows you it around Rupel Road moving east. There's Persimmon Street, South 54th, and then eventually crossing over North Shiloh Drive here into the middle part of Fayetteville. Now, I think the heaviest part of this looks like it goes into the north part of Fayetteville, more so than the south part, but you've got a little bit out there to the south that'll probably push through. Here's a wide view again. There's another look at that outflow boundary that's essentially outrunning the storms, which is really limiting the severe potential with this stuff. Fort Smith area, again, we're caught between two complexes. You had one that formed in Kansas, one that formed in Oklahoma, and not much. I mean, occasional lightning here and there, some thunder. Farther south in Poto, though, it picks up. It doesn't really get strong again until you get way down there around Dallas. So the weakening trend continues to roll on. So the strongest part of the storm is still here in Elm Springs. Strongest part of the storm from Springfield really to Dallas is around Elm Springs and Fayetteville. It's moving through pretty quick too, and it's not severe. Um, Up next, after it moves through Springdale, it'll track through Pleasure Heights and then out 264 east near Bethel Heights as well. That's along Lowell Road, Randall Wabi Road, Old Wire Road. These showers should be making their way through East Mountain. This is Springdale. So here's West Emma and 265 out near the Old Missouri Railroad. You keep going down Emma here, and you run over to Thompson. So you got the rodeo, the Ozarks here, and then you've got the Jones Center and the airport right in this area of the yellow and the red colors. A little bit of a darker red pixel there near. Let's see, where is that going to be at? It's along Emma and Campbell Drive, along with Westwood Avenue and Cisco Avenue near Newell Drive, and that's moving towards Northwest N Street, back across Springdale here. Moving farther south, here's West Robinson, Turner Street, West Sunset, Northwest N Street, taking you south down Cambridge and Chapman, and then looking farther south, some heavier showers and storms just off Cambridge, and that's going to be tracking northeast for us. I think I'm looking at there's Don Tyson, so I'm looking at Tyson right now. Right over the Tyson headquarters. It just moved over that actually. But you got a little more up there, just to the west of town, and that's located there near West Reed Valley Road, essentially coming up Reed Valley Road east into Springdale and the Fayetteville area. So another wide look at this thing as it moves through, and see if we can take a camera shot too out there around Fayetteville and see what it looks like, and get some ground truth to what's actually happening in that area. We'll take you to maybe the Garland Avenue exit. This is looking northbound, looking out towards the storm. Um, you've got that big interchange there that took them forever to finish, but they finally got it done. And then you got the beacon from Washington Regional right there in the middle of the screen. See it flashing around in a circle? So you've got you're looking essentially to the northeast, kind of over there towards Target and JJ's and the Northwest Arkansas Mall on the right side of the screen there. Again, that's tracking northeastward. Not even a lot of lightning is there on that shot. The weakening trend continues and should wind down, dial down here for the next several hours before things calm down and move out. And hey, we get to do this again. So we have two more chances of seeing this stuff. I think we get another chance of seeing showers and storms as we move into Friday night, and then also Saturday night. There's also another chance of some showers and some storms moving through. I'll go back through analyst again and then back over to a wide view just to check everything one more time for everyone. I just want to let you know, though, it's not the same intensity of the storm that we had when we lost all those trees and roofs and homes and tornadoes and everything else. This is nothing like that, guys. In fact, I don't really even see any damaging wind. I did see that gust at XNA. That was about 40 miles an hour. That's the highest gust I've seen so far. And so far, so good. That is good news for us. Before we go to this one, let's go to this radar source first and then take a wide view and kind of go place by place here. So this is the line of showers and storms. These little green boxes here are flash flood warnings. Looks like this one that moved through actually caused, is that a water rescue? It looks like it near, you got creeks overflowing, basements flooding. That's around Ofuskie County. Of course, you got to remember too, we've had a lot of rain in a short amount of time. And that's one of the reasons why we're experiencing some flash flooding or urban street flooding, depending on where you are. But this is the line of storms here. You can see it lined up from the north to the south. The remnants of the first complex are moved through Rogers. They're moving through Fayetteville now. The second complex continues to dive south out there near Idabel. There is a severe thunderstorm warning out near Sherman and McKinney, Texas. That's a long way away, though, and there's no warnings in between, although this is starting to fill in between the complexes, moving out through the greater Fort Smith area. So looking in again, and let's look at Benton County first. We've got some hail that is about 4/10 of an inch out towards LaRue. It's not very big. Eureka Springs, we've got it moving through out towards Seligman. We just had that storm a second ago, too. The heaviest is all over Johnson and Tawnytown now. This is the area that we've been following. I'm going to flip over and let's just get a wide view and look for any wind rotation or gusts or anything like that. And sure enough, there are some gusty winds. Right now, they're on the south side of Fayetteville. See the line as it moves through? The darker the green or the brighter the green, stronger the winds. And it looks like the strongest part of the winds are out there near Fayetteville now. And I would estimate probably 30 or 40 miles an hour. So this is trash can blowover stuff. This is not the kind of stuff that's going to blow the trees over unless they're already leaning. That's out around Fayetteville. Moving south in Fort Smith, nice little gust front move through. Look at that gust front. That really cooled us down, didn't it? So some cooler weather as that thing pours on in. And it looks like maybe some showers right behind it as well. So a rumble of thunder maybe But overall, you can see the outflow boundary. Isn't that cool how it just kind of uncorks the atmosphere and you get these storms that pop off behind it? And that outflow boundary is outrunning it in Poto and then out towards Heavener. And again, looking just at the wind speeds with this, you can see the wind field here. Some gusty winds, but nothing to be concerned about, and certainly nothing as far as any rotation goes. Stronger wind speeds here look like just southeast of Fayetteville. So let's check this thing now for hail. We'll look for where the hail is falling, if there is any at all. And there's a couple of spots here. You've got a little bit east on 412 on the east side of Springdale. And then you got a little pocket of hail or two. I think this is probably pea size. So it's not that big. You can kind of get a feel overall for how this thing is trending, right? Just by looking at these parameters: weak wind speeds, small hail, not as much lightning and thunder. I guess you'd have them both at the same time, though, now that you think about it. Not as much lightning with the storms as they move through in some spots. Now, you guys in Rogers are like, dude, you've lost your mind. It's storming like crazy out there. And that's really a lot where we have a lot of the lightning strikes is out here in northern Washington County now out towards Fayetteville. And again, looking north from that Garland camera, you can see why the storm's moving through with heavy wind and rain from Johnson out towards White Rock, Fayetteville, and Springdale. Looks like it had a lightning strike right there, just populate out there around Bacchus Avenue and West End Drive there on the northeast side of Springdale with the heavy showers and storms moving in. There it is on radar for you. Of course, I hit radar, and then you get a lightning flash, a cloud to ground strike on the camera. That's the way it always goes, though, you know. A few more lightning strikes there on the west side of Fayetteville. Again, that's trending towards the east, and then you have that fall off here as we get between the complexes, the split from the north to the south. So this continues to move across Fayetteville and Elm Springs as a pretty strong thunderstorm, but again, no tornadoes, no rotation or anything like that to be reported with this. And another wide view here shows the showers and storms as they continue to track in from the west to the east. So what happens next for us, right? So this line of showers and storms is going to move in, and then as we head into the next couple of days, we're going to be looking at another chance of seeing storms Friday night and Saturday night. The exact timing, intensity, duration, location, all that stuff still kind of remains to be seen on those two. This one it continues to exhibit a weakening trend. I don't think there's anything to be concerned about other than lightning tonight and flash flooding. I love the fact that it's not raining heavily in Fort Smith because that was an area that was prone to flash flooding. We do have that heavy rain in Fayetteville, though, that continues to track east and towards Madison County. Again, a weakening trend from Rogers to Fayetteville to Springdale back to Fort Smith, and a weakening trend south of there out to Poto. So, no big time severe weather with this one. Some beneficial rain for those who need it, maybe not so much so for those who've experienced flooding. But this whole line is going to track east, move out of the area, and if you're wondering whether or not you can go back to sleep and you have to worry about waking up to any kind of crazy weather, you can go back to sleep, at least along the I-49 corridor here from Bella Vista down through Waldron, Clarksville included. This thing is all weakening as it moves through the area. I'm going to wrap it up for now. I'll see you guys back here next time.